Start your morning with optimism, believing your possibilities. Thank you for choosing Fantastic Radio UK. Your music, your possibilities.
Tell me, Ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. They pull my hair, they stole my comb, well, that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City. She is a courting 1, 2, 3. Pray, won't you tell me how I see? Tell me, Ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. They pull my hair, they stole my comb, well, that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she is the belle of Belfast City.
It's morning, and the day is filled with endless possibilities. We're so glad to have you listening. Have a fantastic morning. Fantastic Radio UK, home of the Afropolitan.
A very, 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 very good morning to you. And for those of you who are listening, it's 1 minute past 7. My name is Kojo Bonti Amwaku, and I have Simone Uncle on the radio. Good morning to you, Simone Uncle.
Good morning, Kojo. How are you?
How are you doing, Simone?
I'm good. I'm good. I shouldn't really need to ask how you're doing. You're doing very well. You're doing very well. We can see that.
Guess, you can just guess.
Oh, no guessing. Just just your exhibition of liveliness.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. I tried to went for a run as usual. Went for a run, so came back and I'm feeling all bubbly this morning. I'm very well. I'm very well. I had a wonderful weekend. I tell you something. I tell you what I've been doing over the weekend. I've been listening to drill music.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So because my son comes home for a weekend, and I see him sit in his room bumping his head, right? And what are you doing? For some time, he was just bumping his head and just going like that and going. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? So I'm listening to music. So I felt, let me not act all adulty, right? Let me not act all fatherly and everything. Let me just get things and see what's going on. So I sat on his bed and I said, so I started talking. He goes, what are you doing here? I go, I want to just talk to you. He goes, oh, okay. So I've been seeing you for a while and I want to talk to you and just touch base. Oh, okay. Is everything all right? I said, everything is all right. So he's listening to the music, puts the headphone on, and he's listening to the music. I said, what kind of music are you listening? Oh, that's Jay Wash. I said, I'm sorry? Yeah, that's Jay Wash, it's a drill artist. So, and suddenly he goes in, listen, Daddy, these are proper music, this is proper music. I said, what do you mean it's proper music? I said, Daddy, the beats and the bars and everything. And I'm thinking, okay, right.
Wow.
So I got the headphone from him. I said, let me listen. And I could not, for the life of me, Simone.
Okay, yeah.
I could not understand a word. Simone, I
thought it was just me.
I just I'm thinking, okay, right. So I said to him, how do you enjoy this? Honestly, tell me. I'm not trying to be family. I'm not trying to be grown up. I'm not trying to, display my gray hair or anything. But please tell me, how do you enjoy this music? That is the content. It's the content. He said it's the content. Some of the stuff he's saying. He's talking about how he came from the council estates and he's done this and he's doing this and he wants to do this. It's not your type of motivational stuff, but it's my type of motivational stuff. And I felt how generations have moved on with music and how we define inspiration, motivation, education very, very differently.
But there might be some parallels with if the lyrics are saying, this is where I'm from, etc. Then we had that with hip hop music, old school hip hop music. Yeah. Yes. So a lot of it was telling us about life in America because that's it's the origins, and it was telling us about hardship, etc., and all the conflicts out there and civil rights. All those things were, if you listen to Public Enemy, KRS-One, all of those.
Yes. KRS-One,
actually, they all gave those stories in the lyrics. So I suppose it's a way of maybe learning a new language and then putting on a gel. Maybe for us, as a lesson. Yes. We need to learn a new language, which is real, and then listen to the music and then try and decipher what they're telling us.
It is because I kept asking. Listen, I'm not trying to box you around or anything, but I love you to tell me, how do you make sense out of this, and the beats are quite, it's some funny sound. I'm thinking, okay, let me just sit quietly and listen. And later on, I said to him, you know what? I'm being honest. He said, go on, what do you think? Just tell me your honest opinion. I said, well, I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. I just don't understand I don't understand it. But he said it's drill music, so whatever it is, just enjoy it. But when I came down, I was listening to myself. I felt generations have moved on. Music has moved on. Music and even the instrumentation and the equipment that we use in telling the musical stories have moved on. You look at the bass, you look at the saxophone, you look at how other instruments have played a major part in music. But over the years, they've moved on and been displayed differently. And today, we're going to talk to our guest, John Hamilton, who's written a book on the guitar. And everything about the guitar and journey through the guitar. And
we had a little bit of his music at the beginning, didn't we, John Hamilton? Yes, one of his hits from the 90s. Yeah.
Music. And I think we'll have to play it again, at least to let people know, for those who will just join later on, to get to know John Hamilton, some of his work and what he's done. What he's done with his guitar work. John is a musician. He's a music producer. He's done brilliant stuff in the 70s, and he comes to the table with plethora of ideas and plethora of music that he's produced. Yesterday was the Windrush Day. So the Windrush Day 2021. Yesterday was being celebrated across the nation, the length and breadth of the UK. Some part of Wolverhampton it was held. Some part of North London it was held, and other people came through in supporting it. Now the campaign is still going on. The campaign. Patrick Vennon's campaign is still going on, and please let's go to the website and support it. It's www.u.38degrees.org.uk. The website again is u.38 degrees. Mr. Hamidi, can we please have it up again, please? It's thank you very much, Mr. Hamidi. It's u.38degrees.org.uk. And please let's go add our signatures to it. Mr. Vernon needs 100,000 signatures to be sent to Miss Patel. And
we're almost there. We're almost there, but we definitely do need the people just sort of get us to the last leg to complete that petition.
That's it. So let's do that. We can do it. Let's do it as u.38degrees.org.uk. We go get music and we come, and Simone Uncle shares bits and pieces with some of the community informations across them. From there, we will have John Hamilton who will join us, and we will get on with it. I'll tell you what today is when we come back. Today is another day. I'll come back, and when we come back, Simone Uncle and myself will share with you few things, and I will share with you what the International Day is all about. Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. It's Simone Uncle. You can join Simone, and you can find Simone on Twitter at Uncle Simone. And you can find Simone also on Simone's email address. It's Simone@fantasticradio.co.uk. Simone, I'm getting it right gradually, aren't I?
You're right. Yeah. I'll just let you do this talking for me. I don't mind. You tell them my email address on Twitter. I really don't mind. Yeah, I can sit right there.
Right. So it's Simone@fantasticradio.co.uk. You can find me also on Twitter at Bonti Amwako on Twitter, and my email address is bonti@fantasticradio.co.uk. Let's go get music. Soon as we come back, we get fun and we get it going. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Thank you.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at onair@fantasticradio.co.uk.
Rise up your feet and move forward to the feet. Before tonight, the pain will heal, and I know you'll be free. Rise up your feet and move forward to the feet. Before tonight.
Come in.
Right.
Ah, Mr. Pilkington, and how are we today?
Yeah, I'm all right, Doctor. Yeah, I've just come for my checkup.
Okay, then, pop your pants off.
What?
Just pop your pants off.
Well,
And,
I forgot to take my pants off.
well, because I have to pop my finger up your
What?
to check your prostate gland.
Don't worry about it.
Well, I am worried about it because prostate cancer kills 10,000 men every year in Britain.
You can check that out if I get any symptoms.
Well, there aren't always symptoms, and symptoms do vary from man to man. So the best way to check it out is I just pop my finger up there
I'm really not
and have a
happy with
feel.
this.
Don't worry about it.
Is that it?
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
No.
I don't know why he was worried. You probably saved his life there.
Does he have to be here?
He's just a mate. Don't worry about him. He's just watching me at work.
For more information, visit the Prostate Cancer Charity website. Real men know all about it.
Everybody get up.
Ode to Boobs by Pip Bishop. Dear Boobs, this heartfelt apology goes out to you all for moaning you're too big or moaning you're too small, for wishing you didn't hang like puppies in sacks or just disappear when we lie on our backs, for squashing you flat with a minimising cup or those torture bras that push you right up. Why is it always your bad points we mention? Like your inverted nips or your water retention? Why don't we love you as much as our men or the babies that love you all over again? Maybe we're scared to show you we care, in case one day you're simply not there. Make it up to your boobs with some breakthrough breast cancer TLC. Touch, look and check. To find out more during Breast Cancer Awareness Month, visit breakthrough.org.uk.
Where is the love?
People killing, people dying. Children hurting, I hear them crying. Can you practice what you preaching? Would you turn the other cheek again? Mama, 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 tell us what the hell is going on. Can't we all just get along?
We used to stay side by side. We used to stay without divide. Who would have thought we'd end up on our knees? Let's get back to where we used to be. We used to love with open arms, without question, without alarm. Now someone's locked the door, threw away the key. Let's get back to where we used.
Testing is free, quick and vital to stop the spread of coronavirus. So let's get tested and get back to the things we love.
We used to be.
Only the king, you know it. King already, you know it. Top everything, you know it. King already, you know it. My body's all about a king body.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at onair@fantasticradio.co.uk.
Very good morning. 14 minutes past 7. I'm Kojo Bonti Amoako. I'm exceedingly wonderfully chuffed to be your way, coming your way this morning, and we having a brilliant time. We having a brilliant time. We having having a wonderful time. I'm looking forward to today, and I'm really looking forward. We having a brilliant conversation. Today happens to be an international day for World Women of Engineering Day.
Oh, now how do I know that? I should know that. Okay, good. Not that I'm an engineer; it's just that I'm a woman. I should really know some of these landmark kind of anniversaries.
Yes.
Cool.
And today happens to be that day where STEM, this technology, and everything to do with engineering for and with women is being celebrated across. So some part of London, there are events that is being organized, but it's very much with social distancing in mind, and people within that technology and science fraternity are celebrating this day. So it's international music. International Engineering Women in Engineering Day across the world, and we wish them all the best, and the technology fraternity and everybody within the world of science, technology, engineering. I think it's growing up. I wasn't so sure what those things were all about. Technology and science, and because again, I wasn't the science buff. I wasn't the science buff. I did more literature. I did more of literature and arts. So very much social science and social science, arts. But I didn't really gravitate towards science. But as I matured in age, I realized how important it was, or how it is, to make sure that it adds color to society, and how science have contributed immensely to our daily lives, from the washing liquid we use in washing our clothes, to the flashing of the loo, to the water we even drink. Science, engineering plays
chemistry, all of those sciences, physics, chemistry, all of that, biology, all of those things kind of just interplay with life, basically, and lifestyle. And there's so many things, at the hands of technology, where we're using our computers, etc. We can easily research these topics now and find where there's correlations with life and what we do every day and what we take for granted, really. Because we're using technology right now, and it wasn't always so.
Absolutely.
So it's really it's quite amazing, a bit of a minefield, but great to actually try and trace our steps back and sort of see where engineering is actually interplayed into life, and where it still does.
Right. It's fascinating, because when I look at science, particularly when we're talking to Dr. Mark Richards the other time, and he was sharing how physics plays a major role in how we live our lives and how sound travels. It suddenly makes sense why and how technology and science and has also added to human development in everything that we do, and how we can't live without it. And I really encourage young people who wants to really go into science and technology and engineering to go for it. Really go for it. I mean, I would love to at some point when they are available, and when we get a chance to speak to them, the Association of the Black Engineers, whenever they come through, we'd love to sort of delve deep into it, and what really prepares people to go into that world of work. When it comes to engineering, technology, what do you have to do? What grades do you have to have at A levels to be able to go into university to do physics, engineering, science and technology, and how people can go there, make that journey into their career life? Because from a distance, if you see them, they sound very deep. They sound very sophisticated. That's the word. They sound, because it's all calculation and preparing, getting all the atoms right, and all the chemicals right. And I'm wondering, at what point do they say, we're experimenting, and at what point does it become a mechanical, mathematical exercise? Simone,
but I was thinking the same thing in the sense that I think
really
way back, way back, we used to think, a child will probably display certain skills a bit more beyond their level, their age level, and we say, they're very gifted. Let's harness that skill.
Yes,
but I think development can take place before that. I think sometimes it's really giving them exposure to a range of subjects, and having the right kind of mentorship will bring them into that area where they can actually feel kind of very confident in their topic. I think a gift can be developed rather than just something that's immediately some kids are able to exemplify that straight away. Through their personality, they might be a bit more outgoing, etc., and will speak up more and be more vocal. Others will probably just need to be coaxed a little bit more, not bullied, not pushed into subjects. Not the parent living vicariously through the child in that sense. But sometimes development takes a slower process and a bit more hand-holding, and again, they can also attain the same kind of achievements as those that are showing gifts at the very beginning, so I think gifts can be developed or in children with the right kind of mentorship, but sometimes it might take a little bit longer.
Yes.
So it's not about just finding a child that actually shows really extraordinary kind of promise, which is good, but I think back then we used to sort of think, okay, if a child sort of takes to a subject straight away, then we're just going to focus on that topic, and that's what we're going to, develop. But I think, if we're giving children more options right now, which I think, in this day and age, the world's a bit more open, really, to different topics, and children are able to gravitate to what they can or what they like much easier. So, I think, the process is a bit different these days.
Simone, whilst you're talking, what comes to mind is how important mentoring plays in human development.
For sure.
It's
needs to be the right people.
It's very, very, very important, mentoring, because you really need that hand holding to help in navigating life, particularly when it comes to career. No wonder I remember when the first time I had a job. I started working with John Ailings on old Oxford Street, and went in, and they had to take us through a whole training.
So you had a full induction.
Oh yes, we had a whole induction. I mean, we had to watch videos, watch how to dress, how to go see the client, what to say, how to approach the client, how to relate with the client, make sure the client is in a good space, how to get to see the client when he or she is not in a good space, how to prospect the client, how to go see the client at the right time, and when all sorts, and when you deliver the work to the client, how you relate with the client, when the client comes back saying that it's not what they want, how you handle it. You don't just go and get angry and get angry and go, listen, you take it or you leave it, kind of thing, right?
But you can also tell, like these days, who has customer service training and who doesn't.
Yes.
You can tell, because by, it is that kind of interaction that you would demonstrate whether they're good at this or not. And with the thorough training that you had, nobody could really go wrong with it. There's no excuse, is there? When you've got that kind of thorough training that you had.
Simone, we had to do proper induction. Myself and another guy called Otis Charles. And we went through, and two other ladies, Cecilia as well, also came through, and we went through this. And honestly, I felt, but we're just coming to do advertising. We qualified, we can do this thing. But what you study at school and what you come to do at work,
very different,
completely different.
Yes,
because you are in real life. And the mistake you do, or any mistake you find yourself in, can cost the business a lot of money. Sure. And I felt okay, but with time it makes sense. It makes sense, and I want to thank those who mentored me, those who mentored me in John Ailings and all these, advertising agencies. Really want to thank them because it really, really, really helped. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful. Simone, talking about mentoring, I want to sort of shift into one thing I miss.
Right.
Then you come with the news and the community diaries and all the events across London. Then later on, John will join us at some point.
I think John's very almost ready for us. I think.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
What I miss, Simone. I miss going out to museums.
Oh.
I really miss going out to museums.
Yeah.
I miss going out to the Science Museum. I miss going
that's
out.
one of my favorites. Natural history, the V&A.
Beautiful place. Went to the History Museum. It's just sort of next
Natural
door.
history. Yes,
that's right.
Yes.
And went in there. I went there myself. Why I went there? Why did I go there? I don't know why I went. I went in there because at the time I needed to do some research, and I went in there, checked on some stuff, and I was just going to go there for about, say, 1 hour. I was there for 3 hours.
It is amazing because there's so much there. And of course, they rotate some of the curated objects, etc. So
that's what
each time, so when you go back, you sort of see things moved, or there's an introduction of another scene.
Yes. I was just going to mention that.
They're very good at doing that.
Because you go in and you think, oh, the last time this thing was here. All right. And you go in again, and the whole thing is changed, and you think, okay, right. And it's a whole science, and the whole science behind the decoration and how to titillate the mind and get people to come through. And it's a beautiful place. I miss going there. The other place I'm really looking forward in going is the history, the military museum, the war museum.
The RAF.
Sorry.
Was it the RAF?
No, the RAF one. The RAF one. I tell you, very interesting.
Isn't that not in walking distance of the other places? Isn't that sort of in the jurisdiction of Kensington, London? Or am I getting it? Yeah, okay. So there's other war museums as well.
You're correct.
Yes.
But the other place, talking about the RAF, right? The RAF, there's an RAF museum in Colindale. Right? They call it the RAF. I think it's the RAF Museum, but it's just by Middlesex University. It's just by the Colindale Police Station, and it's a fascinating place. Fascinating place. It's in Colindale. It's called the RAF. I will get the name. And bring it back to listeners at some point. But it's just not too far from the Colindale Police Station. Amazing, fascinating place. You go there, you see the warplanes, you see how the planes the British fought with, and you see how they dealt with pain, they dealt with grief, they dealt with dying, and they dealt with flying and preparing, and what the British did, and how the Germans also came through, and they've got different kinds of planes. And the interesting thing is, you can go into the plane. Some of them you can't touch them. Some of them you can't.
They allow you into
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay.
You allow you to sit in there, take pictures, and the interesting thing, Simone, you can tell I like military artillery.
No kidding, huh?
The other thing is they have a submarine, right? A submarine there.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. It's in there. It's displayed, and you can go in there. It's about £2 or £3. You go in there, you sit, and you sort of put a coin in, and it takes you down right under the sea, all imaginary, all in Colindale.
Oh, I'm going to say it. So it's virtual.
No. All in Colindale.
It's a simulation type kind of
That's right.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Yeah. I'm not sure I'd like that one.
That's correct. It takes you through, and as he's doing that, you're experiencing what the military guys went through, and he was telling you stories, and giving you all the reports and everything. Fascinating.
That sounds really good because it sounds very interactive. I know some of them you come and observe, and you just view the objects and you read about it, and you can't necessarily. Of course, there's no touching, of course, because it's very old artifacts and you're preserving it. But to hear that. You can actually climb into objects, the military planes, the submarine. That sounds very good. I mean, gosh, that'd be brilliant. I mean, I don't know if enough parents know about that. Kids would be not run amok, but they'd love it. I'm sure,
Yes.
to get inside an object and to play in that sense. So yeah.
I'm looking forward in going to.
And you're a big kid at heart anyway, so I can see why you spent about 3 hours down there.
I'm a big kid in heart. I love that. I love that expression. Simone Uncle and myself on Fantastic Radio having a brilliant conversation. You follow Simone on Twitter at Uncle Simone, and you can always get in touch with Simone at fantasticradio.co.uk. Myself, Bonti at fantasticradio.co.uk. My name is Kojo Bonti Amwako, and her name is Simone Uncle. John Hilmington will be joining us very, 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 very soon, as soon as we come back with music. Mr. Hamidi, let's do it. And as soon as we come back, it'll be John Hilmington. Let's do it.
Right.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at onair@fantasticradio.co.uk.
Odo payana, honey makuma, your love is to me, my baby, the air that I breathe. You bring alive the best in me. My body's waiting outside to party, yeah, before the big day tomorrow.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at onair@fantasticradio.co.uk.
You're very much welcome. It's 31 minutes past 7 on Fantastic Radio, home for the Afropolitan. My name is Kojo Bonti Amwako. Her name is Simone Uncle. You find her on Twitter at Uncle Simone. You find me on Twitter at Bonti Amwako on Twitter. Again, you can get in touch with Simone at fantasticradio.co.uk or myself as Bonti at fantasticradio.co.uk. He starts from Glasgow, starts piano with his mom. He eventually picks up guitar. He plays in a big band. In the 70s, he does brilliant stuff. And today, our guest. Talk to me, Simone, who is joining us today.
Oh, we have John Hamilton with us. Yes. At the start of the show, we played Shamrock Tell Me Ma, which is kind of an Irish melody. You can probably explain it or decipher it much better. But yeah, that was a hit in the 90s, I believe. And that's just one amongst these catalogue of works. He's done a lot of work producing music as well as writing, etc. And he's helped people to skill their writing development into bringing that into music. Yeah, so for the last 40 years, John has also owned and managed EQ Studios in West London. And as well as actually, helping artists bring their work to the fore. So welcome. Good to see you, John.
Good to see you, John.
We have a little glitch. We can't hear you.
Has decided to travel away from us. The sound will come through.
Okay. We'll get John back, hopefully.
We'll get John back. The sound has decided to do what it has to do. But, over the years, John has done amazing stuff. I got to know John through a network of creative community, which I was invited, or can I say I was grafted into few months back, and went in and met.
So how did you get your foot in that group? What's your skill? Or
well, I know my people,
Or was you just being a purveyor and just being nosy, or was you involved?
Well, you got to connect, you got to make your ways into all these environments, and meet all these super music stars, So when sometimes you get invitations to join networks, right? And they go, "Oh, do you want to join this? Would you want to come through?" And 2 days ago, I got an invitation from it's a book club. And they said to me, oh, we're doing this and this, and we've seen you do that and that. Would you want to join us? And I'm thinking, well, I'll think through it and I'll come through and
You're qualifying for all these different things that you're not necessarily skilled at, but you know.
I know.
What props to you? They like you. They want you. So what is the demands? Well, go for it.
Yeah, so I got invited to join this network of creatives across different people. So there was this doctor who does something. I think it's neurosurgery or to do with science. There's another lady there who's a physiotherapist. There's a barber in there. There's a lot of people, and they come together on Sundays to network and talk and brainstorm and see how they can use their creative work to, first of all, add value to people's lives, but also to better themselves and advance themselves. I got involved, and
what's interesting about that collective of people is that they're very much studious. They're academics in their day-to-day, but also very creative, which brings them into that group and have that commonality.
Yes,
it's really good.
So that is how I met John, and we were talking, and whilst we're talking, his book comes up, and I felt, okay, what is it about? So he talks to me, starts talking about the guitar breaks and what it's all about, and I'm thinking, okay, right. As soon as it's ready, please come through. Let's have a conversation, and I'm just checking. Is John hearing us? John can't hear me. Okay, so I felt, let's come through. Let's see how we can get things going. And he's on, but the sound has decided not to make himself make itself available. Before we get into our conversation, and myself and Simone talking into the events across London as we get John Hamilton to join us. John has written a book and the story of the guitar, and you can go to www.guitarbreaks, as in GUITAR breaks, as in BREAKS.co.uk, and every information of John's book is on this website. It's an audio book with all of information on there, and his studio is www.EQstudios, as in EQstudios.co.uk. And John produces music. John works with artists, develops the artists, plays the guitar, and I think he plays the piano as well. So yes, and he's got a studio in West London. And it will be good to know more when we get the sound and everything sorted, to know how the whole thing started and what happened in the 70s when they recorded the music. Where did they go to? What was tour like? And how technology has moved on, and how he is really advancing in that world. And who has he worked with? I know he did some work with Rashid Ogunlaru, and he's also produced some of Rashid's work. So,
Rashid was one of our guests as well.
Yes,
wonderful.
Rashid was. Yeah. So soon as the microphone and the all the other things are sorted, we will get John in, and we will get it rolling. Miss Uncle, you have something for me for events across London?
Oh, okay. Let's do that then. Yeah, we should do that. Bear with me. I'm almost with you. Okay, yeah. So yesterday we celebrated Windrush Day.
That's correct.
And there's still a lot of celebration. There's a lot happened last weekend, pre the event, and now we've got some more to actually enjoy as well. So I want to quickly capture those so you can actually tap into those events as well and enjoy the rest of the week with a Windrush theme. The first one is virtual Windrush exhibition. So you're talking about galleries and missing going out and doing the real experience, being on foot and being in the space, the exhibition space. This one's a virtual gallery, and you can gain that at by going. There's a collection of 3D objects that act as symbols behind the stories. So you'd have to click the objects, and it will explain a bit more about the object and the story behind that. And if you go to www.492cornerclub.com, and that's corner as in Kilo, Oscar, Romeo, November, Alpha, and Kilo, Lima, uniform, Bravo. Okay, so that's 492cornerclub.com. That will give you the virtual gallery. There's another event at the annual Windrush Caribbean Film Festival.
Okay.
Now that's started on the 22nd of June and that ends on the 29th of August. You've got plenty of time to go online to windrushfestival.com, and that will give you access to an event for the festival. But there's also an online Caribbean Tales -TV, and that's worth looking at as well as a virtual event in your own time. And that gives you a bit more on the Windrush themes and options with the aims to engage and educate audiences in cinema and art venues across the UK. Right. And the contributions of the Windrush generation and the impact. So it's going to talk about a series of screenings, talks, micro cinema for the school and community. So worth taking a look at that one as well.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. That's another thing. That's another thing that I would love to go, Simone. I mean, it's virtual, so we'll be very much able to log in, sign in, and watch, and watch everything. Mr. Hamidi, let's get music whilst we go get something to drink and slide back as we talk to John. John, we want to say welcome this morning. How are you, John?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. We can see. We can see and hear you.
John,
Wonderful.
can I say thank you so very much?
My absolute pleasure. Absolutely.
Very much, Mr. Hamidi. Let's go get music. We've just got come back. As soon as you come back, Simone will have a whole, a thing about his book. Then from there we'll carry on and get the conversation going. Let's do it.
Cool.
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at fantasticradio.co.uk.
Two seconds, everything done bust. The kind of love I get for you now, mad am I too cost?
Mr. Leggy on the beats.
We are ready to fly. Go get it. Delivery. Go get it. Now I'm before the Kanye. Lambaji, no madu, oh yo, mama to,
Simone and Kojo on Fantastic Mornings, 7 to 8 a.m. Join the conversation at fantasticradio.co.uk.
We are very much welcome. 42 minutes past 7 on Fantastic Mornings with Simone and Kojo. Our special guest happens to be John Hamilton from guitarbreaks.co.uk. John is out with the book. Simone tells us everything about the book, or some things about the book. Then John tells us everything about the book. Let's do it.
Yeah, I can't give everything about the book because otherwise we won't achieve any sales. We need to just give a little teaser about the book. So basically, as we know, John is an author as well as a producer, engineer, and multi-instrumentalist, which I believe is your main instruments are guitar and piano. Yeah. And you've released a book called Guitar Breaks, A Guitar's Journey Through 1950s USA. And you released this book last year, I believe. So it's an audio book, and it utilizes multiple narrators, classic and original music to take people through the journey of a formative period in the US cultural and social political history. And the story unfolds through experience of their owners depicting America's social music culture. And it shows early forms of rock and country and soul music for that generation. And you have these characters also that take us through that journey. So it's not just reading almost like a biopic tale. It's certainly not like that. It's actually fictional characters that will, and some actually people, known artists as well that appear in the story as well. But your main characters are Rosecliff, Zach, and Josh, which makes it a bit more relatable, really. It's less fiction, I suppose, but it's delivers as fiction. And this is really it goes through. So, like I said, it mentions some real life characters. It mentions Martin Luther King, also Muddy Waters, Big Joe Turner, Buddy Holly. Those characters also play, even though it's a fictional tale.
Right.
And about the journey of the guitar through 1950s. I don't know if I've done it justice, John. Can you tell me if I've actually missed anything out in this summary of your book?
I like that.
No, I want to buy this book now. You've sold it, Simone.
I did a very good pitch then. I'm pleased about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Praise indeed.
You become my marketing lady. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. I'm looking for a job. There we go.
What prompted the book? What brought about the book? Talk to us about that.
Well, quite a few years ago, I read a book called Accordion Crimes by Annie Proulx. And it was basically this totally fictitious story of the journey of an accordion through 19th century USA. And I just kept wanting to know what happened to it. It was she's got a very dry writing style, but I did want to know what happened to the accordion. And then halfway through it, before I packed it in, I went, I wonder what this would be like if it was a story about a Fender Strat, an electric guitar, in 50s America. And that was where it all started. It was going to be a book, not an audio book. And I started writing it probably about 5 years ago, in between working in my studio. And someone quite famous once said that writing about music is like dancing to architecture. In other words, you need to hear music to appreciate music. And I thought, well, the only way I can write this book is to make an audiobook so that we can hear what we're talking about. I mean, I think it's a very strange thing. I bought Elton John's autobiography about a year and a half ago, and he talked about the songs he'd written. And I just thought, what a trick to miss. Why not play a little bit of your song, Crocodile Rock? Maybe it was a publishing copyright type thing, but I just thought it would light any book about music up if you could hear the music. So that's the genesis of the whole thing, and it just then took its own life. I found singers, and I got a license from PRS so that I could actually use snippets of real records, really just for contextual purposes as much as anything else. In the background, so and such came on in the jukebox so that people could go, oh, right, I remember that. And you'll maybe get, 30 seconds of something. And so that is really what all that was about. And the other great fun was actually putting words into the mouths of famous people. I had a lovely battle between a role-playing exercise between Martin Luther King and one of the owners of the guitar, Josh, and he suggested that Martin Luther King and he did a role-playing exercise where Martin Luther King was Malcolm X, and this guy would be Martin Luther King, and so they changed roles so that, because as you know, Malcolm X was almost a polar opposite of Martin Luther King. So it was just a fun exercise for me to make Martin Luther King act out Malcolm X. Just wonderful fun, just imagination run riot, And Martin Luther King was utterly traumatized by the experience in my book. He sort of said, I actually felt how he thought, how Malcolm thought I felt his hatred. And great fun. So I did that throughout the book and had lots of fun. And I wrote all the original songs I wrote.
Okay. So as well as being a musician and now an author, have you got experience with like amateur dramatic societies, to get the actors? Okay. No, but that worked so well.
The only acting I do is in the studio to convince people they're better than they are. That's my main function in life.
Okay. And the title Guitar Breaks, why that title?
Good question. It's guitar. In songs, in certain songs, there's what's called a guitar break, where you hear a guitar solo, so that's chord. So it was just a play in words, to be honest, because breaks also implies broken. So there's a few things in it you can figure out yourself. But
with that said, you've worked with so many recording artists, of course, in your years. But why do some, on a comical note, why do some musicians break their guitars on stage? We're talking about vocalists, etc. In plain words.
Number one, you can afford to.
Yes, exactly.
And I think when you get people like Pete Townsend of The Who doing that in the 60s, I think he very carefully had a guitar that had been broken before, stuck together, and then he broke it again. They weren't complete dummies, they weren't breaking up £1,000 guitars every night. But it's just some statement, I suppose, about the upbeatness, the violence, if you want, inherent in rock and roll and certain forms of dance music, pop music. Great.
Is there a favourite memory related to your career so far?
Yes. It was something that didn't happen. I was back in the early 80s. I was working in the studio, and I had this Trinidadian client, Wallace, and he was due to come round to the studio to do a session, and he phoned me up an hour before the session to say he couldn't come. I was slightly teed off with him, but he said he was taking Stevie Wonder around London, and he wouldn't be able to see me. And I basically said, well, when you lie, mate, you do good lies. At which point, this other voice came on the phone. Who's this? And I said, who are you? And he said, this is Stevie Wonder.
Oh, okay.
And I went, oh, yeah. I was still a bit angry with the guy blowing the session. So anyway, this person saying he was Stevie Wonder said, I'm at Wembley this week. Come down and see the show. And it transpired it was Stevie. And I went.
Really?
And I went the next night to Wembley, get taken up to the VIP area, and sat with Sting, Mick Jagger, Keith Richard. I was just sitting with my wife amongst this gilded company.
So all was forgiven then?
Oh, I absolutely forgive him. And at the end of the show, we went backstage and met Stevie, and then Marvin Gaye came over and introduced himself.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
it's even better.
It was a bit of a star-studded evening, I can tell you.
Wow!
And it was great. We ended up in the back of a car with Marvin Gaye eating soul food. So
amazing.
Yeah, it was good.
It sounds so surreal, and yet it's wonderful that it happens. That you got that to add to your repertoire.
Yeah. But yeah, tip-top fun. Really, really great fun. But my basic work is I run the studio. I run it from home now since COVID. But I run the studio for clients who are mainly singers, songwriters, primarily. I can, because I'm a multi-instrumentalist, I can play bits of keyboard, I can play bits of guitar, and I can produce and mix and etc. etc. So that's what I've been doing for quite a number of years now, and great fun, really great fun. Not many famous people, but it's kept me alive. And it's given me the wherewithal to write, which is a late find in my life for something I really love doing. Really good fun.
You say it's a late find in your life, but you kind of harness some of these skills at a very young age with the help of your mother.
Oh yeah, music was
the music side developed early.
Very much so. Mum was a piano teacher, and she taught me piano when I was 6, and then much to her horror, when I was 13, I found guitar, and promptly stopped playing the piano, and which she was very disappointed because I was doing well in music festivals and things like that. I just lost interest in piano. But fortunately, after I played guitar for a few years, I came back to piano. And so I managed to work on both instruments after that. So I've been very blessed with the people that brought me up, and what talent I've been able to develop. So I've been very fortunate.
You know, John, I'm reading something here. It said Guitar Breaks looks like a fabulous book.
Thank you.
And what a great idea to produce it with music as well as narrative. The inclusion of iconic songs from the 50s can't fail to enhance the overall power of the narrative. And it's very important indeed to the concept. I really hope that this idea comes off so that you can break new ground, as it would be terrific to read a book and listen to the songs at the same time. This is what David Stark, the editor and publisher of Songlake International, said about the book. What has been the response since it's been out? Because it's on Amazon, isn't it?
Yes, it's on Audible, Amazon Audible. Yes, it's sold steadily, and I've had a little advertising campaign that's helped move it as well. But I really, because I'm basically lazy, I need to get about and promote it a little bit more, like talking to yourselves, you know, and just get it going, you know.
That's it.
It's been top fun, really great fun doing it. You know? And I'm working on the second book, which will be set in the 60s.
Okay.
Same process. Iconic figures from the 60s, Hendrix, the Beatles, whatever.
Excellent.
You know? And I'll just get my characters, my new characters, to weave in and out of their lives, and have fictitious insights into some of these famous people. And also we know a lot about these people anyway, from reading about them. So it's, you know, it's not going to be totally surprising if Jimi Hendrix liked to roll a joint, etc., etc. You know, so that's really what that's all about. But yeah, all good.
Are there any other artists that are your inspiration or role model?
For me? Oh, blimey.
You personally? Or are there other artists that you'd like to collaborate with in the future?
No, I don't collaborate very much, Simone. I just work alone. But in terms of inspiration, I would say in my generation, the Beatles, and then in the 70s, Stevie Wonder. Undoubtedly, Stevie Wonder. I think anyone with ears, you know, Stevie Wonder's the man. He just
right. What is it about Stevie Wonder that you like, John? What is it about Stevie Wonder? Is it his lyrical skills? Is it the piano? Is it his creativity? What do you like about Stevie Wonder?
Well, all of it. He's a very wise person. He's a clown as well.
He's what?
He's a clown. He loves clowns.
Okay, hilarious, funny. Okay, cool. Yes,
he's a funny guy.
Right.
I remember when I saw him at Wembley that night. Do you remember a song called "Lately" that he did? Lately, I've been staring at the window. All right, thank you.
Oh no! Okay.
Yeah, but nobody knew the song.
Okay.
Because he'd just written it, and he said this, and he started playing the introduction, and people started applauding, and he took his hands off the keyboards and said, "What are you applauding? You've never heard this song in your life." So he's a funny guy, but a great rhythm, great fun. There's a new kid out there called Jacob Collier. I don't know if you're aware of him.
Jacob Collier, okay.
Yeah, he's just phenomenal, polymath musician. He's only 26, and he's saying, "Who are your big influences?" He said in order: Stevie Wonder, and
Stevie Wonder. Right.
But that's that, you know. But
right.
It was also lovely meeting Marvin Gaye. He was a very gracious guy.
John, you know, we want to encourage our listeners to go to your website, guitarbreaks.co.uk. Go get John's book on Audible. It's downloadable. It's available on Amazon. Go get it. Please, let's go get it. Enjoy it. And get in touch with John. John also runs a studio at www.EQ Studios. EQ Studios is on the screen. Please go in there. If you're recording, you want to speak to anybody to recording your sound, getting the music produced and getting stuff going, please go into eqstudios.co.uk. Two things I'm going to ask you, John. One, Did you do anything to do with Rashid Ogunlare's music?
Oh yes, Rashid Ogunlare. Yeah, I produce his music.
Ah, okay.
Wow.
Very talented guy. Very intuitive musician.
Supreme.
He's a musician who operates straight from the heart. He's a total delight of a man to work with. He really is. Terrific singer and just get great ideas. See, when I'm working with people, if they give me back, they get the best out of me.
Right.
And Rashid is very, very much in that category. Yeah.
Thank you.
He's well worth checking out.
I was talking to Simone, and Simone was asking me a question. Do you think John teaches guitar? And does John teach how to play guitar? Because I've got my guitar in my back. And
I was going to skip that one, but I'm a bit shy about asking.
Well, I'm going to ask. Go on, Simone. Go on, Simone.
No. I was just curious whether you teach guitar as well, because of course you surrounded by all these instruments, and of course you learned it from a young age. Is that part of your?
I did teach guitar, Simone. I remember when I was a young guy, I was studying classical guitar, and how I paid for that was I gave lessons in rock and roll and pop guitar to a guy, and then I went straight to a classical guitar lesson with the money that had been given by the other guy. And I charged more than my classical teacher, which was quite good. So I changed leftover for a beer. Most of the people I teach are very uninspirational, and it's a really hard. Most musicians that I know who teach because they have to, and because it's uphill if someone doesn't respond to what you're doing, to what you're offering. In the book, actually, there's a section where there's a conversation between a guitar teacher and one of the young guys in the story, and that's very telling. Because I think it's tough for a lot of people since lockdown have turned to teaching, virtual teaching, etc., etc. So my answer to that, Simone, is I'm willing to give it a go, but you got to work at it.
I see.
Yeah, got to work hard.
John, thank you so very much for coming. Guys, look, it's been a brilliant, wonderful conversation. It's been John Hamilton, done brilliant music, produced a lot of music over the 50s into the 60s, and done wonderful music. You can get in touch with John at guitarbreaks.co.uk. You go on the website, it's www.guitarbreaks.co.uk, or you go to his studio's website, which is EQ Studios. So it's www.eqstudios.co.uk, and everything to do with music production, music recordings, everything to do with John Hamilton, you will have it and find it there. Simone, do you have something to say?
Yeah, just one last thing. Look out for, please, you will find John's book on Amazon Audibles or iTunes.
Okay.
And the book is called Guitar Breaks, A Guitar's Journey Through 1950s USA. Please go search for it, download it, pay for your audiobook, and you'll enjoy it incredibly. There's so much in there, so much content. It's fictional characters as well as characters that all recognise through the music journey, and worth a listen. So please go and look out for that book, please. And thank you very much, John. Really enjoyed our talk.
My pleasure.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you for having me. Delight.
It's been beautiful. It's been John Hamilton. It's been Simone Uncle. And it's been Kojo Bonti Amwako. We come your way on Friday with V. Roberts, talking everything to do with marketing, branding, business, and her book. Simone Uncle, you find her on Twitter at Uncle Simone, and you find me on Twitter, Bonti Amwako. Or you get in touch with Simone at fantasticradio.co.uk, or myself, Bonti at fantasticradio.co.uk. Simone, thank you so very much for today. And I have enjoyed today. Let's do this on Friday again.
Cool. Will do.
Guys, thank you so very much, and have a wonderful and a fantastic morning. Bye-bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
The empowering conversations with our guests, the riveting music we share with you. Thank you for choosing Fantastic Radio UK, home of possibilities.